Hey kids, welcome to another math lesson with Mr. Cotton. Today, we're going to be modeling multiplication so we can solve multiplication word problems. You know you got it when you can solve a multiplication problem on your own. So, let's get started. All right, so today we're actually going to be broadcasting from my kitchen so that we can model one of these multiplication problems. Now remember, multiplication problems are just like any other word problem. They always give you information, so a known, and then they give you something that you have to find out, an unknown. So today we're going to be looking at how to solve these multiplication problems using real-life world models. Personally, I like the dark chocolate Oreos myself, but any Oreo will really do if you want to follow along. Okay. All right. So the first step comes in reading the problem and making sure you underline and circle important information. Let's take a look at the word problem first. All right. It says, Mr. Cotton made 5 stacks of cookies to share with friends. Stop. What important information can I get from this problem so that I can solve it? Well, I know that Mr. Cotton made 5 stacks of cookies to share with friends. So I know I have 5 stacks. So 5 stacks. That's going to come in handy later because I know I have 5 stacks of cookies. Now each stack has 5 cookies. Stop. This is another part of the problem where I can get important information. I know that each stack has 5 cookies. That's pretty important. Each stack has 5 cookies. So I know I have 5 stacks, and I know that each stack has 5 cookies. That's the important information in the problem. Let's take a look at the question. How many cookies does Mr. Cotton have to share? So I'm gonna underline this because it's my question and it's pretty important. It's gonna tell me the unknown. So what they want me to find out, that's where I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it from the question. How many cookies does Mr. Cotton have to share? So here are my knowns. I know that there are 5 stacks of cookies. I know that there are 5 stacks of cookies, and that each stack has 5 cookies. So there's 5 stacks, and each stack has 5 cookies. Those are my known. Now, what is my unknown? I don't know how many cookies Mr. Cotton has to share. That's what I need to find out in this problem. Let's solve. The next thing I'm gonna do to solve this multiplication problem is to write down my information, just like we've always done. What is my known? So I know that I have 5 stacks of cookies. It always helps me write down this information. That way I can picture it better in my head. So we have 5 stacks of cookies, and each stack has 5. Each stack has 5 cookies. Now what I don't know is how many cookies does Mr. Cotton have to share in all, right? So I need to find that answer by solving this problem. What I'm gonna do next is I'm going to model this with real life cookies. Yum. So let's take some of these cookies right here, and we're gonna make 5 stacks of cookies. Now I want you to pause the video. Really think about what's gonna happen here. What do you think you're gonna see in this video? You're gonna see 5 stacks of cookies, but how many cookies are gonna be in each stack? Pause the video, really think about it. Ask yourself that question. What am I going to see here? All right, pause now. All right, hopefully you paused the video and we're ready to move on together. So I'm gonna have 5 stacks of cookies, so I'm gonna make my stacks first. Stack 1, stack 2, stack 3, stack 4, stack 5. We've got 5 stacks of cookies. Each stack is going to have 5 cookies because that's what the problem told me. So let's make stacks. So this is 1 cookie, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And last but not least, this stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 stacks of cookies with 5 cookies in each stack. Before I move on, I'm going to challenge you to pause the video now and draw a picture of what you see. What does this look like? 5 stacks of cookies with each stack having 5 cookies. Pause the video now. Okay, I'm going to be drawing this model as well so that you can compare your picture to mine. Let's take a look. So I'm drawing 1 stack of cookies with 5 cookies each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1 stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's another stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another stack. That's 3 stacks. We need 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks with 5 cookies in each stack. Does that look familiar here? Hopefully your picture looked somewhat the same as mine. If you drew equal groups, that is also correct. Okay, now that I've drawn a model of the problem, this should start looking kind of familiar. I see that I have equal groups because each one of the stacks has the same number of cookies in it. Now, whenever you see an equal group like this, you're going to multiply. Now, how do we multiply? Remember that we can always just count the number of cookies in all of the stacks, or we can use repeated addition. We have 5 cookies here, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Now that's always fun because counting by 5s is pretty easy. So we have 5 plus 5, that's 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 5 is 20. Now what is 20 plus 5? Pause the video now and try to figure out what the answer is. All right. Now you could have just counted all of the cookies, but skip counting by 5s is pretty easy, so you should have gotten 25. Now what does that mean? It means that 5 stacks of 5 cookies each, 5 times 5 equals 25. Mr. Cotton has 25 cookies to share. Pretty easy, huh? Don't mind if I do. Let's review the steps that we use to solve that multiplication problem. First, we read the problem and we highlighted, underlined, or circled important information to find out what is known and what is unknown. Then, after writing down my information, I made some kind of model. If you have something at your house that you can use to model these problems, then go for it. Then I drew a diagram to represent the problem or the model that I built. Diagrams are like pictures that help you to solve these types of problems, so they're always very useful. Make sure you draw a diagram. After that, I said, this looks familiar. So then I started solving my problem using addition and multiplication. I wrote down my number sentence. After I wrote my number sentence, it was pretty easy. Just skip counting or add all the numbers. And remember, you can always count the number of items in all of the groups. That way, you can double check your answer to make sure that everything looks right. All right, that's that. Remember our objective for the day. Today, we modeled a multiplication problem so that we could solve a multiplication problem on our own. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, we still have office hours and we still have live lessons. And you can always message me or your teacher for any questions that you might still have about how to solve multiplication word problems. So, if you'll excuse me, there's a box of Oreos calling my name. Happy learning.